Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with Ralph. Hope you're fine, dear lovely IELTS candidates. Well, today we're going to cover another task one academic writing, and today's chart is graph. And first, let's take a look at our graph here and also the question. The graph below shows the average length of stay last year in days for serious injuries for different age groups in private and public hospitals in Queensland, Australia. All right, now let's first of all take a look at our graph here. Let's see what the graph is all about. In the vertical line, we have the average length of stay, and it's for the days. For example, 10 here signifies 10 days. 20 means 20 days. And the lines are divided by two categories, public hospitals and private hospitals, right? And the horizontal line is age group. And as you can see, the age groups are for every 4 years of age. So starting from 0 up to 4 years, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and up to 85 years, all right? Now, this is the let's say overall view of the graph here. It's not that much difficult, really. So when you see that, oh my God, there are a lot of age groups here. So how am I gonna group the data here? But no, that's not that much difficult and challenging. So first of all, what we do is we start planning. So in planning, we know that the first paragraph is our introduction paragraph in which we paraphrase the question, right? We write about the chart, what the chart is all about, all right? And then we write our overview paragraph in which in overview paragraph, we only talk about specific trends and features of the graph without going into details. So we do not write any numbers, any data, all right? Nothing. We only write about general features and trends of the graph. Now, what are general features and trends of this graph? Let's take a look at this graph again. What are general features? Well, as you can see, public hospitals stays were longer. Yes, they were longer than private hospitals across all age groups, right? Except with only one exception, all right? Now, and another thing which is important here is that pay close attention to the trend of both categories, public and private. As you can see, they follow a very similar trend in terms of how the stays rose and dropped, all right? For example, in age 25 and 29, as you can see, they have the same trend. Or, for example, at the end, from 50 age up to the 85, again, they followed similar pattern, right? In terms of increase or decrease, they have kind of a similar pattern. So this is something that we can add to our overview paragraph. Now, it's time to group data here. If we want to write body paragraphs, we can allocate our first body paragraph to public hospitals, only write about public hospitals, and the second body paragraph about private hospitals. That would be a very good way of grouping the data here because we have two categories and the information for each category is a lot. So we cannot actually group the data based on age groups. That would be a little bit challenging for you. So in the first body paragraph, you can write about public hospitals, and in the second body paragraph, you can write about private hospitals. All right, that would be the best way to group data here. Now let's start writing our report, starting with introduction paragraph. So always in writing your introduction, please read the question twice. The graph below shows the average length of stay last year in days for serious injuries for different age groups in private and public hospitals in Queensland, Australia. Now, I can say the graph provides, so instead of shows, I write provides. Provides two sets of statistics. Two sets of statistics regarding the differing lengths of stay last year for patients with serious injuries in private and public hospitals in Queensland, Australia. I read it again. The graph provides two sets of statistics regarding the differing lengths of stays last year for patients with serious injuries in private and public hospitals in Queensland, Australia. So this is my introduction. And I also write about the information which is given for age groups, which are for every 4 years, all right? The information is given for age groups for every 4 years of age. That is something important that should be mentioned in the introduction, all right? How the age groups are divided. This is very important. Now, starting our overview paragraph. So, we always know that we start our overview paragraph with a word something like overall. Overall, it is clear that. All right, it is clear that what? So we should say that staying in public hospitals were more than private hospitals, right? It is clear that last year public hospitals stays were longer than stays at private hospitals across all age groups, with only one exception. With only one exception. The average lengths of stay were, however, very similar in trend in terms of how the stays rose and dropped. So this is what I mean by following a similar pattern. As you can see, as I said before, if you take a look at the graph again, you can see in terms of increase and decrease, both categories follow a similar pattern. So this is something that should be mentioned in, let's say, writing our report. All right. Now, guys, let's turn to our next paragraph, which is our first body paragraph. All right. So we start with writing public hospitals. As you can see, we should always write the figures for the beginning. So the figures for public hospitals begin for the age group 0 to 4 years. As you can see, 0 to 4 years. All right. And that's around 4 days, right? Around 4 days. So the lengths of stay go up very sharply and steadily from this age group. I'm going to write from 0 age group up to 25. So it starts from around 4 and it reaches around 60 days for age 25 to 29. So I repeat this sentence again. The lengths of stay go up very sharply and steadily from this age group, starting at around 4 days up to just under 60 days for the age group 25 to 29. So that's it. I wrote from 0 age group up to 25, 29. Now, what happens after that is that there was a drop, right, to 35 to 39 years. We should write this. There is then a sharp and steady drop to just over 40 days to the age group 35 to 39, right? Now, We're in 35 to 39. What happens after that? There was an increase, right? There is a more sharp increase to approximately 57 days for the next age group. For the next age group. And what happens after that? After that, there was a decrease, right? Now, and then there is a decrease in the length of hospital stays. This drop is sharp to start with. It means from, what I mean here is that from 40 to 44, there was a very sharp decline up to 50 to 54. All right. But after that, the decline is kind of slows down. Right. So I repeat this sentence again. This drop is sharp to start with, but slows down from the age group 50 to 54 years, right? Around, and I write this in parentheses, around 27 days to 85 years plus, which is around 18 days. So as you can see, I do not write about all age groups here. I just have to mention the beginning, what is the number for the beginning, and the highest or the lowest points, and the lasting point or the last age group, right? So you do not have to write about all data here. That's not necessary, really. Just the beginning, and if you want to write the number, the exact number, you should write for the beginning or the highest or the lowest point, or sometimes, for example, biggest changes during this period. And you have to end your paragraph all the time with the data for the lasting point, for the last age group, which is 85 plus, right? That's it. So we do the same here. We do the same for private hospitals in second body paragraph. So now let's start writing our second body paragraph. The figures for private hospitals follow a similar trend. That's it. I mentioned here that, all right, it follows a similar trend. Now, the figures begin with the age group 15 to 19 years. Yes, that's it. You know, the beginning point here is from 15 to 19 years. Now, what happens after that? They show a rise to a peak at the age group 25 to 29. As you can see in 25 to 29, it reaches a peak, right? The highest point, right? So I read this part again. They show a rise to a peak at the age group 25 to 29, the same peak age group for public hospitals. That was the same, as you can see, right? Now, what happens after that? There was a drop, right? So we should write about this. There is then a mostly steady drop in the length of hospital stay until the 85 years age group. The 85 years age group, you can see, right? What's that? 85 years age group, where the length of stay is the same as the stay at public hospitals, which is around 18 days, right? So as you can see, it is around 18 days. You can see in the graph, the only, let's say, average length of stay, which is the same for both public and private hospitals, is this age group 80 to 84, which is around 18, all right? So this is the only average length of stay that is the same for public and private hospitals. The average length of stay is always larger in the age groups at public hospitals. This is again to, mention that public hospitals average stays longer than private hospitals. All right, that's the all, guys, for today's lesson for sample band 9 graph. I hope you enjoyed this. and has been really helpful to you. Until next time, enjoy your time. Stay tuned and goodbye.